Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Solar Online Alicization, which is on episode 20. This episode looks really simple, nothing much I can really give that's really spectacular, but the way how it ended, dear lord, man. Kinda expected it because I spoiled myself a long time ago, but yeah. Those of you guys who read the light novels or watched the anime up to this point may understand what I'm talking about. Those of you guys who haven't caught up to the anime up to this point, you'll be confused of what I'm going to say. So if anything else, let's go. We have to it that Kirito carried Alice all the way up to that 96th floor whatsoever, and they actually struggled. Well, he struggled because Alice was heavy, not to mention with that armor and sword whatsoever, it's gonna kill him. It was gonna knock him out. So if anything else, yeah. Aside from that, Kirito and Alice end up having a little small talk and conversations with each other to know that we're gonna keep fighting, you know. And Kirito decides to find Yu-Gi-Oh by using some kind of tracking spell of sacred arts to like find the sword where Yu-Gi-Oh is at, you know. And he was locating the blue sword, and therefore Yu-Gi-Oh picks it up and grabs it. I mean, Kirito picks up and grabs it, but not before they meet. But Kule, who was frozen up and is in a deep freeze spell because of Chokilin, that stupid clown administrator whatsoever. And we see too that Alice and Bakuli end up having a little small conversation after Bakuli summoned enough willpower to try to talk to Alice for a bit and ask her to change the screwed up world, you know, kind of thing. And therefore Kirito finds Yu-Gi-Oh's sword, destroys whatever that's withholding it from him, and then picks it up. We see to it that Alice and Kirito end up talking about Chocolin, that clown administrator, and they end up finding a staircase and find the room where the clown was at. Therefore, Alice grabs him by the neck, and we see to it that she was interrogating him, not to mention Yu-Gi-Oh is hearing this as well. We get to know that these integrity knights are actually puppets that the clown has been mentioning. Not to also say that he says that when Alice was a little innocent girl, she was trying to like resist for the time being, but eventually when time goes on, somehow the clown managed to get Alice to like to remove protection core possibly, and later on that time when that happened, that the clown will end up like making Alice the integrity knight number 30 or something. And unfortunately this came out pretty bad because he was enjoying it most of the time, and Alice actually felt very ticked off because he was enjoying tormenting her, especially when she was a little girl. This kind of fueled my rage too and made me cringe, knowing like someone killed this motherfucker already, you know. Anyways, if that guy dies, the deep freeze spell that was on Bakuli will disappear. But unfortunately, Alice stabbed him and he somehow escaped and did not have effect on him. We see to it that they ended up going upstairs and they end up meeting Yu-Gi-Oh, who he thanks Kirito for bringing his sword. And Kirito's like, hey man, are you sure you don't remember who I am? But Alice warns Kirito, this guy's not the same as you think he is. So if you waver, you will lose a chance to save him forever. You told me that we could restore him by getting his real memories back, right? So that's what we have to do. And Kirito agrees and ends up trying to talk to Yu-Gi-Oh in a certain sense, but that doesn't work. And Yu-Gi-Oh somehow used the sacred arts whatsoever that goes through his own willpower to get the sword. And he does not want to know anything. He doesn't want to understand anything because the administrator gave him what he wants. Those of you guys who watched last week's episode and watched it to the very end, you will get the idea. I know what I'm doing is cringy and doing this, but oh my gosh, Yu-Gi-Oh, you big dumb Ugh. But I have to say that Yu-Gi-Oh was in a situation where he wasn't able to win either because of like that spell or whatever the freaking hell that administrator is always doing, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah. Talk about a situation where Kirito has to face his best friend and partner and says, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh, I am your master and you are my student. There's one thing for certain though. I am not ready to lose against my student, and they end up clashing against each other. And we see to it the next episode title is called The 32nd Night. So yeah. So all I could give you in simple recap without a lot of detail is that Kirito and Alice end up going to the floor where Yu-Gi-Oh's blue rose sword is at, and ends up meeting Bakule, and he gives some words of advice to Alice-chan and tells her to like change the screwed up world, Kirito and Alice end up meeting the clown, and then of course Alice was trying to kill him after what he confessed and says about the Integrity Knights and everything else all together. And we see to it that Kirito and Alice ends up going upstairs where he escaped from, ends up meeting Yujiro. Yujiro takes his blue sword, and Kirito and Yujiro end up clashing against each other. That much I can tell you. So I don't know how this battle is gonna go out, but it's not going to be very pretty, especially when Kirito has to face his own partner and best friend that's trying to save Alice, and due to the fact of the administrator with his mind, you know. Yeah, I hope she dies in an agonizing death, that's for sure. So until then, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, right? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!